What's going on, everybody? Your man Eric Wilson on a Monday night here on the Sports Arena, the last Monday night of September. Wow, can you imagine? We're already 3 weeks into the NFL. Some things have happened that have had us head scratching, and some other things have happened that kind of fell into place. But we got a show, as always, jam packed. Let me go ahead and get the crew in here. Since I had to sit on our show, the Sports Arena, and watch my Eagles. Well, only watch half the game because I had to do the show here, of course, for all of y'all, the two people watching. Appreciate y'all very much. I figured it's only fitting that the man on the left coast, the West Coast, forks up Arizona's son, Arizona State University's own Mike Cartenuto, has to be on the show tonight while his Dallas Cowboys are currently beating the New York Giants, which,
Yes,
I'm
they are.
all about the G-men right now. So,
Well, you would be, but it's
of
all right, man.
course.
I appreciate it. I love it. I
Of
love it.
course. Let me go ahead and get my co-host in here, the man who soon will be making a lot of money, so you can no longer call him the sports reporter without pay. Our man Ray Lynn in the building. And Ray Lynn, I just want to say this to start the show, sir. If I could, I would give you a hug because I have embraced your team this season. I was the only one who said they would get 10 wins. And watching that game yesterday, I'll put it to you like this. Never in the history of the sports arena or before that have I ever paid more attention to someone else's game while my game was going on. I think I spent more time watching your Detroit Lions fight, claw, scratch, scrape their way, which should be a victory, to only have it end up the way that it did, sir.
Listen, man, for starters, y'all game was over early. So
It
like
was.
y'all game was over early. But no, man, it is and I still represent. Y'all see what it is, man.
Exactly.
But it's one of them things, man. When we did our predictions, I told y'all, man, the Lions will lion every chance they get. It's just one of them things. We find a way to lose close games. Like if you think back, I'm talking our history. Like if you think back, the Calvin Johnson catch against Chicago, that wasn't a catch. We lose that game. You go to the Seattle game where the dude batted the ball out the end zone. Close game. We lose that game. Dallas in the playoffs. Pass interference. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. We lose that game. Aaron Rodgers, phantom face mask. Very next play, Hail Mary, they beat us. We lose that game. Last season, the end of the game with Lamar Jackson was the leg game, but they didn't call it. Then they kick a record-breaking field goal to beat. We have a way of losing games that you think like, oh, they won, or you like it's the third, fourth quarter. Lions got this in the bag. No, we never do. Right? I like what Dan Campbell is doing. I think St. Brown is a stud. I think Swift is a stud. I even think Williams is a stud. And golf isn't playing horrible, but we just find a way to do Lions things, man. I like what we building. Panay Sewell is a stud. Like the defense is getting after it. Everything is going right. We're doing everything to win games, but win games. So, and none of that was scripted. I didn't plan on saying none of that, E, but you brought it out of me talking about us losing a close game, man.
Because I just felt it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm telling you right now, I felt that yesterday.
Bro, listen, right? Think like, so you had to feel like game one. We came out against you guys, and in the first 7 minutes, you went, oh
yeah,
these boys. And then next thing you know, we was down by like 3 touchdowns, and then we fought back in the game, right? Fought back in the game, only to lose it. We opened last year just like that against San Francisco. They were stumping us, and then we made a run, and then came up short. That's what we do. We play people tough for 56 minutes. Them last 4.
And Ray, your first game against Minnesota last year, this was a it was like deja vu because I'm like, I think the Lions get them too. And
all right, hold on.
Like how you said,
let me get our fourth in here tonight, and then we can keep this going. I just had to get that out. This brother was so gracious enough. He's going to be joining us for a couple shows here over the next 2 weeks. John is too busy celebrating his 3-0 to be on the show, but he did send us a video about some craziness. So John's still doing John. But this man, when I tell you Sideline Sports Network, you would see this brother's face. You truly will. He's on the Gauntlet podcast. He's on Basket Bros. He's on Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel. He's on Cub Fidential. I mean, he is just all over the place. But this is our brother. Denzel Snipes is in the building, man.
What's going on,
I
y'all?
appreciate having you on the show tonight, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I just want to check on my boy Ray J, man, because you know what? I'll tell you, when they was up 10, I walked away from the game. I was like, nah, they got this one. But I fell in line with the rest of them, and it's like Lions fans, man. We know better. And I was like, no, they got it. And then I turned around and the Vikings got the lead. I was like, oh man, they just blew it. They snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, essentially, man. Like,
But I want to say the
Man,
same thing to you because I'm watching your Texans game. Now, listen, I know Lovie Smith ain't won in Chicago since he was in Chicago,
right?
but I'm watching that game and I'm saying to myself, yes, Lovey, get you one, son. Come on, Davis Mills, let's go, let's go. And then Chicago just found a way to win. I'm saying to myself, boy, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'm gonna stop doing 1 o'clock picks because for the past 2 weeks, no, facts. For the past 2 weeks, during the 1 o'clock games, I have only gotten one correct. One. Now my 4 o'clock games, I'm okay. My Sunday night football, my Monday night matchups, that still remains. But my one, you might as well, whoever I'm picking, just go the opposite direction. I'm telling you, I'm 2 weeks and I'm like, how am I doing this? I'm going off of what I see. But we gonna transition really quick. Starting the show off tonight here. I gotta know who is everybody's peak performer of the week. All right. And I'm gonna start with Ray. Talk to me, my brother. Who is your peak performer of the week, sir?
do I get to pull a Mike Carrottenuto? Do I get to do
Yes.
two? Can I do
Yes,
that?
you can. Yes, you
Well,
can do
I
two.
Okay.
meant I always pick one and just mention another.
Okay, I'm gonna do two, and the only reason is, man, these are two guys that I've been extremely hard on. Like, you got to call a spade a spade. If I'm gonna call it when it's bad, I got to give you your props when it's good. And Eric, you'd be very happy to know that 2022-23 is looking like the Jalen Hurts show right now. 340 and 3 touchdowns. He's taking care of the ball. He's making plays with his feet. He's making accurate throws. And I could have very well went his receiver as well, but I'm a stick quarterback, right? He did his thing, man. And then Lamar, somebody need to show me the money. Jackson, 218, 4 touchdowns, another 100 yards rushing at a touchdown, 5 touchdowns on the day. Like, he's just out there carving defenses up. They didn't go get him any weapons in the offseason. A lot of Ravens fans. Shout out to my guy, Deron Brooks. Keep telling me every time he scored, I got to get a text message to say Duvernay. Every single time he make a play, this guy text me, Duvernay, right? Because he told me in the offseason this guy's going to be special. I don't know about that, but Lamar's playing special. He's playing like, y'all should have paid me what I asked for, because yesterday's price ain't today's price. And the way he's playing, today's price is going to be like, show me the money. So, hey, shout out to Lamar Jackson. If you've ever followed me, the Sports Reporter Outpay, Ray Lynn, Sports Arena, all of that. Like, I am very tough on Lamar Jackson. I think he still has a lot of room to improve. There's still some flaws in this game. But right now, the way he's playing,
All
tip my
right.
cap to you, sir.
Denzel, who's your peak performer of the week, sir?
Well, like Ray, I got two of them back here myself. So the
Wait,
first
wait,
one,
wait. When did this become the Mike Carrottenuto? I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna give you two now. Come
We
on,
had to beat
man.
him to it. We had to beat Mike to it.
yeah. Well, in all fairness, I'm gonna go off for the same game because he picked Jalen Hurts. I was hoping he wasn't gonna say this, brother, but my one of them is wide receiver Devontae Smith. 8 receptions for 169, a touchdown on 12 targets, averaging 21.1 yards per reception. This is the beauty of the Philadelphia Eagles right here, is because you're giving Jalen Hurts options to spread the ball. You see what I mean? Because if you saw it, AJ Brown didn't have a bad game either. But it's almost like a trade-off because last game it was A.J. Brown and this one it was Devontae Smith. But absolutely, carving defenses up, stretching the field. Devontae Smith was one. And the second one, dare I say it, was T-Law, Trevor Lawrence. 20 and 39 for 262, 3 touchdown passes, no picks, 115.5 passer rating. I know we're going to bring this up later on. Is this the Jags are for real? And some might ask, what are the Chargers frauds? Some may agree, some may disagree, But far be it for a Jacksonville Jaguar to make a peak performer. You got to give it to Trevor Lawrence. Young boy's starting to come into his own. I know there's a lot of football left to play, but as of right now, I like what I'm seeing.
All right, that's fair. Well, Ray, since you showed me love and we did not discuss this prior to the show, I am going to return the favor and say Amron St. Brown is my peak performer of the week
Son
because
God.
when Jared Goff needs somebody to get that first down, get that yards, find a way to keep the drive moving, that is the guy he goes to. And my 1B is DeAndre Swift. I slept on him. I will be the first to admit it. I did not feel this brother was a running back stallion. That brother will get you some yards. But going back to St. Brown, in 3 games, 23 receptions, 253 yards, 3 touchdowns already for the season. This brother is somebody special. Y'all got a true stud, man. And his brother ain't no slouch over in Chicago either. But right now, it is definitely Amon St. Brown is my peak performer. I'm just gonna give y'all one because I know Mike gonna give you two. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, real quick, you gave us two. You gave me two Lions. I'll
Okay.
say this, man, and as a Lions fan, the only thing that I'm not liking about that is it's very reminiscent of if you watch the Lions play, whenever Stafford was in trouble, or we just thrown it in Megatron's direction. If we 3rd and 5 and more, I know where the ball going.
Yeah.
I know before it snapped where it's going. Goff is locked in on St. Brown. Hey, Mike, catch the next Lions game and watch anytime we 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Oh, it's going to St. Brown.
Okay, I'm not saying it's not, and he has targeted them. I will say that. But first of all, I only have one, and I like all your picks. Secondly, again, Eric, they listen to Jimmy. They don't hear Jimmy. Everybody loves Jimi Hendrix. You can listen to him. You don't hear him. I might give 2 or 3 examples, but I always pick one. And I did go with one this time in my European vacation trek home today when I talked to you, Eric. I was thinking about it. I had notes. Cordarrelle Patterson, hands down. The spotlight player. 17 for 141 yesterday, 1 touchdown. They don't throw him the ball too much because when you pitch it to him and this receiver runs, he takes off. With Mariota, look, the Falcons aren't going to win much. The Lions are going to win more than the Falcons. And side note, I love Ray Studs because, like you said, Jared Goff isn't playing bad because your guy DeAndre Swift, you slept on, can run the damn ball like Todd Gurley. I'm not saying he's Todd Gurley, but runs the ball with power like that. But the studs Ray mentioned, man, Pac-12, baby. That's right. From the Conference of Champions. That's my dogs. Penei Sewell, that's my dog. Anyway, but Cordarrelle Patterson, man, the Falcons should have beat the Rams. Hey, coulda, shoulda, woulda, they didn't. It was a win for the Rams. But this cat has just been that Swiss Army knife, and because he went to Atlanta, and fairly enough, they weren't winning, you see highlights of him for the Falcons like the second half of the season last year, and that's all you saw for the Falcons. But, man, he willed them to this victory against, again, maybe a lowly Seattle team and Geno Smith, but Cordarrelle Patterson. One answer. Who got one this time? This guy. Those 3 had 2. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I just would like to bring y'all attention, and we're not going to make this a Lions show, but as good as DeAndre Swift is playing, Jamal Williams is playing just as good.
He is.
Like they got this 1-2 punch kind of reminiscent of like Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon, or if you remember in Jacksonville where they had Jones, Drew, and
Fred Taylor
at the same time. Fred Taylor at the same time, right? Like when you had this 2-headed monster, like they got that kind of thing going. Like Swift got 231 and a touchdown. Jamal Williams got 168 and 4 touchdowns. Like, so they're both playing. We just can't win games, though. Can't win games.
That's the missing piece. Listen, I was scared of them week 1. When y'all figure it out, because it is only a matter of time. When Dan Campbell figures out how to play 60 instead of 56, like you said, it's going to be something to behold. All right, let's keep it moving here on the sports arena. Gentlemen, I got to ask the question. Wait. John Shear has sent something crazy. So let me just go ahead and play this video. We get this out of the way, and we will come back. Hold on.
Good evening, peasants. The Miami Dolphins are now 3-0. I won Pick'em for week 3, and I lead the entire year. So you could say the Dolphins are the kings of the NFL. I'm the king of Pick'em on the sports arena, and Derrick Henry is the king on the Titans. Derrick Henry should be traded. The Titans are bad. Taylor Lewan is out for season. They beat the hapless Raiders. However, you should get rid of Derrick Henry by the time Malik Willis actually develops. King Henry's treads on his tires are going to be gone. You might as well trade him. The Miami Dolphins need a bruiser. His cap hit is about $9 million. The Dolphins have over that. They have enough for that. If you trade them Mike Gesicki, he's a $10 million cap hit. You don't lose anything. You have him for 4 years. His highest cap hit is $15 million next year. and it's way under that the 2 years after that. So you should trade Derrick Henry if you're the Titans. I don't know what you're going to get for him, but if you're the Miami Dolphins, you have the speed at running back. You clearly need a real running back, a bruiser. Miami Dolphins, go and get Derrick Henry. But again, John is king of the sports arena. The Dolphins are king of the NFL, and life is great. Remember, Miami Dolphins, fins up.
Yeah, dude, he would celebrate a win like that. And I thought about that. And look, I picked the Bills. I thought the Bills should have killed them. They had the ball for what, 40 minutes? They had 3/4 of their secondary out. Eric, remember when we used to have conversations about everybody saying the Patriots are still the best team in the league after they lost because, like, oh, it's a loss or it's 2 losses. Oh, Patriots are the best. They're always still top of the power rankings.
Yes.
Well, the Bills are still the best team in football. You won by 2 points. They won. And you know me. I'll give them their props. They won. But you won by 2 with 3/4 of the secondary out. And Tua still couldn't throw the ball over him. And then John said yesterday that in the message is like, oh, that was a cheap shot on Tua. What was Mike Milano supposed to do? Somehow stop magically? Matt Milano, he had his hands out. I didn't think it was he touched him in the shoulders. They called the penalty. It is that, but man, I'm still going to say the Bills are the best team in football with that roster.
And we will get to that at a later time. So let's ask that question. Miami Dolphins, we'll start with them because they are 3-0. Are they pretenders or are they contenders this year? Denzel.
I did some thinking about this, and I'll just say this much: is right now they might be the hottest team that no one's talking about. I'm going to go back to last year for a second. At one point in time, the Miami Dolphins were 1-7. Everybody was like, I knew it. Tua ain't the answer, just like we said, right? Since that time period to date, they are 11-1. 11-1. They had a blowout loss to Tennessee in week 17 last year, and then they won that game, and they started out 3-0. Now, I agree 100% with Mike Curtin up there, is they got thoroughly outplayed by the Bills. The Bills should have beat them by 3 scores. Time of possession, 41 minutes to 19. Doubled in passing yards. And, I get the feeling that the Bills lost that game more than the Dolphins won it. However, props to Tua. He did will his team down there. They won the game. Somebody had to win. The Miami Dolphins, it remains to be seen. I still have the Bills winning the East, but I think they finally crossed the hump and getting the Dolphins getting to a playoff spot. So, I'm not going to call them, world beaters, but if they can get a wild card, that's a start.
All right, Ray. Miami.
So first off, I never understood this idea where you go, I think these guys lost it more than these guys won it. Like when you go, well, the Dolphins only won by such and such. Well, the Bills, right? In a football game, you typically want to win time possession. And the Bills did that. Like Miami's offense couldn't get going because they were on the field for 19 minutes. They're on the field for 19 minutes, right? And in those 19 minutes, they outscored the mighty Buffalo Bills, which what we should be talking about is that Miami defense, who was getting to Josh Allen at will. They was putting some pressure on that boy. They was putting some pressure on him. They was bracket covering Diggs, right? He didn't really get off, right? So Miami did what they were supposed to do. To Mike's point about John's video, like I don't think his video was saying the Bills aren't the best team, which I don't think the Bills aren't better than the Chiefs, but that's neither here nor there. They both dropped a dud this week. This is about him celebrating his team, and he has every right to. Like Denzel just said, you going back to last season, they're 11 out of their last 12, and they are 3-0, and they didn't beat no chumps. They went and was down 3 scores against the Baltimore Ravens last week and came back and won. Then they came out this week and showed you we can do it in a different way. Last week was all that high-powered offense. This week they won with their defense. That's a very scary team. That's a very scary team. Like I think I predicted in the preseason for those guys to win 10 or 11 games. And I said this game, even if Buffalo won, this ain't going to go how y'all think. I know some Buffalo fans. Shout out to you, Brad Walters. You owe me a chunk. Like I said, bro, they're not running them off the field. And lo and behold, they won the game. You got to take them serious. If they just went out and beat the team that everybody's saying the best team in the AFC, maybe the best team in the NFL, they beat them, period. Right. With only 19 minutes on the field. 40 minutes on the field, and they helped them to 19 points. They did their job. They won the game. And that's what if we want to talk about Buffalo losing players, your quarterback, which they investigate in this the concussion protocol, because no way he should have been back on that field. The way that man head hit that ground, no way he should have been back on the field. But either way, man, Miami won. You got to take them serious. They done beat off two giants already. When we talk about quarterback play, Tua done took out Lamar and Josh Allen in 3 weeks.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, Ray, but here is my rebuttal to that. It's the beginning of the season. These gentlemen didn't play a lot of preseason, so they are getting.
Whoa, E, because we was ready to crown Buffalo when they stumped the Rams in week 1.
I still am.
Tennessee.
I am not. Tennessee. I said Tennessee was one dimensional. I didn't give Tennessee a lot of love anyhow.
But Buffalo stumped them, and we was like, "Yo, we knew this."
But again, I still am on that with Buffalo. I still say Buffalo will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl in Arizona this year. I still hold to that.
That's not a crazy take.
But what I'm saying to you about Miami is Miami right now has played some home games and have shown up. Okay. Yeah, you beat Lamar in Baltimore. I give you all credit in the world. All credit in the world. Because Baltimore's defense should not have allowed Tua, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill to basically just be off to the races. Okay. But what I'm saying to you is I cannot, in good conscience, give Miami that nod just yet, while Buffalo had a hiccup. Okay. Everything that you and Denzel said is point. It's on the money. However, I am looking at this and I am saying to myself, Miami, you at home. You got the crowd backing you. And no matter what anybody says, that plays a difference. Okay? We talk about it with the 12. We must talk about it here down in Miami. So I am saying that they are still a contender. A pretender, because I still have to see October and November. Make no mistake about it. If we were pretty close to Thanksgiving, and Miami, let's say, was middle of the road, okay? Let's say they were like 6-5. And then all of a sudden, these 3 games that they just had, the Patriots, the Ravens, and Buffalo, and they won them 3 games, I'd be sitting here telling you right now, they getting into the playoffs. That's before December hits. But I cannot, in good conscience, say they are true to who everybody is right now, making them out to be. To me, they're still a pretender. Mike, I'm kicking it to you.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ray, I said they won the game. And again, I don't sit there and I'm not going to make excuses for a team. If you're on the field for 40 minutes, what Denzel said, you have 41 minutes of possession, you would think an offense like that is going to put up at least 28, probably 35 or 40. But their defense did ball out. They were on the field for a while. And again, all the bantering and trash talking with John aside, they went on that 7-game win streak last season. Well, they could go on a 7-game losing streak this season, as could anybody. But what Tua within that offense, he doesn't have to do a lot. He can make plays, and he's done it. He shouldn't have been back in the game. I'm 100% with you on that. Not because I want, again, he should be out so they could lose. I'm just saying, if anybody's head hit, and even in a helmet, hits the turf like that, and he wasn't in concussion protocol, now they're investigating all of it. The way their defense played, they balled out. But to Eric's point, like, it's 3 games. So every year, like, my relation to college football is the preseason rankings. After September, when I look at my top 10 is completely different from most of the, well, not completely different, but there's some teams in the top 10 that are there because of what they did in September as a whole. And then other teams that are there because, they're getting the name recognition. They played this great. But for the Dolphins, if you're going to leave your defense on the field that much in week 3 and it continues, that defense is even at that level is going to burn out. So that's
but Mike, here,
that's
so
me.
I don't. How do we rationalize that though? How do we go? Like, if before last week we go, they're 2-0. Like, Baltimore blew that. They were up 3 scores and Baltimore blew that. We're not going to give Miami credit for coming back. We're going to say Baltimore blew that. They should have won. So then you go, we're going to see Miami true colors this week. This is a real litmus test. It's Buffalo. And then they beat them and we go, it's only week 3. If they'd have went out and got stumped, we'd have been saying, we knew it. Miami wasn't the real deal. Y'all got me sounding like John on here. We knew it. Miami wasn't the real deal. Buffalo put them in their place, but they went out and did the unthinkable.
No,
right?
because hold on. But to your point, right? Yes, I see what you're saying. But to your point, last year, okay, so that they won that last year. They won 11 out of 12. But when they went
last year, don't none of it count.
No, I know, but when they went up to Buffalo last season, they lost in Miami in a close one last year, and then in Buffalo, hung 50 on them last year up there in Buffalo. Again, different teams, I get it. But yes, you're going to say Buffalo's a litmus test. To your Ravens point, I said that last week. I said their secondary blew it. Tua balled out. Tua made the plays. Remember, I'm like, it pains me to compliment John. Tua made the plays. The Dolphins offense made the plays.
I just don't understand how, again, we typically judge quarterbacks on winning and losing. I personally don't. But if you're talking mano a mano, he done took out two of the best, right?
And I take
right.
And I
and not just
and Allen threw for 400.
Listen, I take nothing away from that, Ray. You are absolutely right. Is Tua showing me something that is making me sit up and pay attention to him? Yes, sir, he is. Is he still one of the 2, potentially 3 undefeated teams in the entire NFL? Yes, he is. But again, I am looking at these 3 games in September. I'm living in the moment. I'm not looking to October, November. I'm not looking to 11 of 12 of last year. I am looking in the moment. And what I'm saying to you is in September, is Tua the guy that's going to get this team to the next level? At this moment, right now, on the sports arena, September 26th, I'm telling you, he hasn't shown it to me yet. Yes, he beat Lamar Jackson. Yes, he beat Josh Allen. Okay? But it wasn't just Tua. Did Tua strap it on his back last Sunday? You're damn right he did. Did he show up and say, you know what? I don't care what they say. I don't care what the protocol is. I'm going out there and I'm going to win this game. I'm strapping it on my back. We're going to get it done. I only got 19 minutes. Okay, that's fine. But I am telling you my opinion. I am not seeing it in him yet. But he is making me pay attention to him. Denzel, I'm gonna give you the final word. We got a lot to talk about. We got to keep it moving. But I'm gonna give you the final word on this, and then we're going on.
I got a couple of points. Just number one, I do believe as of right now, the Dolphins have found their quarterback. That's number one. Tua has shown it, and not just from what he's done in this season, but he's shown you little bits since he came in place of Ryan Fitzpatrick some time ago. That team went 10-6. Then he leads this run. They go 9-8, and then now they're starting off 3-0. I think they found a quarterback. That's number one. Number two, another thing that can be true is we do need to see more football. In our lifetime, we've seen a 2003 Minnesota Viking team start off 6-0 and miss the postseason. This is why the rest of the season has to be played. And number three, shout out to that defense, because the one factor that people aren't talking about was that weather yesterday. It was hot and disgusting and muggy down there in South Florida, and that defense was on the field for 41 minutes. They might be the real MVPs in this game.
Okay. We have another team in here just to keep up with time. Ray, stick a pin in that because we will come back. Because as the season goes on, John's going to be here talking about it. So really quick, I'm going to put everybody on the clock. Everybody gets 30 seconds because we got so much more to get to. Are the Philadelphia Eagles contenders or pretenders? I'm going to go Mike, Ray, Denzel, then myself. Everybody gets 30 seconds. You get in the solo shot. Mike, go.
Unfortunately, yes, even wearing this, Philly could be a contender. Everybody says the NFC's weaker. We'll see what happens on their schedule. We all know the Commanders are terrible, but yes, you beat up on terrible teams, and they did just that. So if Jalen Hurts can do it, I said in the beginning of the year, he has to prove it. Same thing we said, we're talking about Tua, same thing with Jalen Hurts. I just want to say, they put all this around him. Well, he has to prove it. Well, so far, he is doing it. I give him his props, as much as it feels like I'm vomiting. I give him his props. They're contenders.
If by nothing more than the virtue of, I do think they play in one of the softer divisions. And it only got worse with Dakota going down for the time that he's going down, right? We watching these two JV teams on Monday Night Football right now. No, I mean, it's not a shot, Mike. Seriously, without Dak, like not many teams can withstand a loss of their starting quarterback, right? So with no Dak Prescott, that division is a little weaker. Philly will win that division easily, which puts it right in the conversation for the NFC crown. So yes, they're contenders, and Hurts is the real deal.
I'm gonna tell everybody something right now. The Philadelphia Eagles are angry. They're playing angry. Jalen Hurts lost to the GOAT last year in the playoffs, and that is his motivating factor. I promise everybody watching on the telecast, I promise everybody on this panel, he wants Brady again in the postseason, whether it's in Philly or in his house. He wants him again en route to the NFC title game. Now, as far as making a Super Bowl, that's subjective. I think they can make the NFC Championship game. Contenders, yes.
I'm biased, and y'all already know this. I mean, this to me has, memories of years past when we start off the season hot. But just like I said about Tua, I'm going to say about my Philadelphia Eagles because I will be the hardest critic. I got to see more. I know we have Devontae Smith. I know we got, uh, my God, my brain is so messed up. AJ Brown. I know we got Dallas Goddard, but I still need to see more because as the season progresses, we need to be consistent. I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's keep it moving. Speaking of 3-0 teams, let's go to a team that's 0-3. Gentlemen, I got one simple question to ask you. Are the Raiders done? Are the Las Vegas Raiders done? This was a team that when we did our preseason picks, we said 3 out of the 4 teams in the AFC West, Ray, you said possibly 4 could all make the playoffs. And right now, the Denver Broncos are leading that division. Marinate on that for 5 seconds real quick. Okay? Are the Las Vegas Raiders done? Denzel.
I'm going to say no, actually. And here's why. So in 2021, they started 3-0. They were 5-2 by the bye week. Now this season they're 0-3. They got Denver at Kansas City and then the bye week. But I want everyone to keep in mind that all 3 losses will by a combined 13 points. If a play goes here right, if a play goes there right, they could be 2-1. They could be 1-2. They could be 3-0. I know if it was the fifth, this would be the sip off, like you like to say, Eric. But I'm not ready to call them done. They just have to make some slight adjustments. And to me, it's as simple as that. Just make the simple adjustments, and they can start, winning these games. They've been in the ball game all 3 times. Just didn't bounce their way all 3. They're the most unfortunate team right now, aside from my Texans. But hey, at least we have a tie.
Okay, Mike, he talks about making those simple adjustments, but we're not seeing those simple adjustments being made. And we are going into, again, the season is progressing.
Right.
These teams are going to either figure it out and make those adjustments, or they are going to be in these close games. Are the Las Vegas Raiders done, Mike Carrotino?
Yeah, I'm not going to say they're done because to piggyback off that, you're saying little things go your way. Everybody was excited about Devontae Adams. And yes, it's been a few years since him and Carr were teammates at Fresno State. We know that. But look, it's going to start clicking. I mean, look, with Aaron Rodgers, it was clicking. And for a 3-4 year span, we all know like Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, like it's there. Yes, a few things have to bounce your way. Yes, you have to make some plays. Do I think there's some holes on this Raiders team, maybe more so defensively than offensively? Yes. I do like, obviously, both their ends. I mean, you can rush the passer. In the secondary, they can make plays, but it needs to become consistent. I know after 3 games, all these, probably diehard Raiders fans are like, fire Josh McDaniels. Look, they have the talent. Carr's the quarterback that can get it right. When things don't bounce your way, we have a nickname for that. And people in sports media, we call them the Chargers, because how many years in a row did the Chargers start the season 0-4 because they miss a field goal? They can't get on the field. They get a delay a game penalty, push a field goal kicker back 5 yards. He misses it. So like they're not to that point yet to me, but you need to shore up a little bit of your secondary. And yes, who you have now is who you're rolling with. We understand that, but you need to shore things up in the secondary. You need to make it easier for them. And it gets easier when those pass rushers start getting there. There's teams on their schedule they're going to get. So I'm definitely not going to say they're done yet. But you're right. The path to the playoffs, like we all said, at least 3, and I kind of lean towards Ray, like all 4 could go. The path to the playoffs gets pretty much impossible if they drop next week's game. So they're not done, but it's going to be a heavy climb up in the AFC.
All right. Before I let Ray go, let me just say this really quick. When you have Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Mac Hollins, who came over from Philly. You're welcome, by the way. Darren Waller. Okay. Then on the defensive side of the ball, You got Chandler Jones, Max Crosby. You had Denzel Perryman, but he's out. I'm looking at this team and I'm saying to myself, I know we don't like to put a lot into stock into name recognition, but to me, that just breeds of talent on the field. So Derek Carr decided, made the decision, was instrumental in getting his wide receiver away from Aaron Rodgers and saying, hey, man, let's make it happen. And we haven't seen it. And again, 3 games in, I'm not pushing the panic button. But if you asking me, are they done? Hell yeah, they done. Because in that division, you know Kansas City's going to figure it out. If Denver stays where they're at, they're going to make the postseason. And Justin Herbert is a warrior. Okay? We talked about Tua coming back in the game. Justin Herbert shouldn't even have played yesterday with all that rib cartilage issue he got going on. But that young man still came out and showed up and did his thing. Okay? Granted, he got a loss, but he showed up. Neither Tua nor Justin Herbert should have been on the field yesterday, but they were. What does that tell me? They got the heart. Vegas has got to figure it out this week, Mike. They don't have a choice in the matter.
Agreed.
Because if they don't, yeah, they done. Ray?
If anything has been disappointing so far this season, it has been the AFC West as a whole, right? To answer the question, yes, the Raiders are done. But we were looking at this division, especially, again, we talking quarterback play, a division with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, and Russell Wilson, who looks, dare I say, washed, right? He doesn't look anything like the Russell, and I don't know if that meant like, yes, he's washed, or no, don't say that. I don't know what he is or isn't. I'm telling you what he looks like.
I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, he looks done, right? Because we looked at that team last year with Teddy Bridgewater and went, man, if they had a guy that could actually get the ball to these weapons, to Jared Judy, to Sutton, to Melvin Gordon, like we're looking like they got weapons in place in Denver. The defense is okay. You throw a quarterback in there and boom, tailor-made, but it don't always work like that, right? They look atrocious. The Raiders look atrocious. Everybody, Devontae Adams. What is Aaron Rodgers going to do without him? What is he going to do without Aaron Rodgers? Because Aaron Rodgers looked just fine with Robert Tonyan, with Alan Lazard, with Randall Cobb, and the rookie Romeo. I never say it's like, I don't Doobs, Dobbs, whatever you want to call him. Like, that's going to be his guy for the rest of the year. Meanwhile, you over there, all the weapons we talked about with Vegas in the offseason, right? Derek Carr already had Waller, we talked about. Jacobs, we talked about. Hunter Renfrow, we talked about. And then you add Devontae Adams. So in theory, all of those guys take a step down. Like they don't have to be number one targets anymore. Devontae Adams is your guy. You got a guy who's proven himself in this league, and it just isn't working right now. Y'all was talking about, all the games are close. Well, I'm a Lions fan. I know how that go. That turns into 6-10. That turns into 6-11 in a 17-game season, right? Like when you can't win close games, and it's not like they went out and played no world beaters, right? The Chargers we expected to be a great team, right? That ain't really worked out that way. Arizona looks atrocious this year, right? Like it ain't like they ain't even got to the tough part of their schedule. They still got to play Kansas City twice. Still got to play Denver, who isn't playing great, but they mucking games up, making it ugly. Somehow they 2-1, right? They got to see the Rams later. Like 8-9 wins is going to look real tough for this team, and you done already dug yourself a hole. You're already 0-3, right? Just to go 500 now, you got to go, 0-3, 17 games, 14 left. You got to go 9-5 the rest of the way to go over 500. So that's tough sledding, man. That's a tough division. They better start winning fast. I mean, we was talking about Miami. We seen Miami turn around and win, 7-game win streak and all of that, but I just don't see it. Nothing they've shown me makes me feel like this team can turn it around, right? I think they heard all the hype. They bought into the hype, drunk the Kool-Aid, and they haven't come out playing with their hair on fire like they got a point to prove. They were in the playoffs last year, right? They supposed to come out this year like your Philadelphia Eagles have come out. Making the playoffs wasn't good enough. We want more.
No,
they ain't playing like they want more.
Let me ask you this real quick, too, because with what the Chargers, and Eric, this is to your point, too. Justin Herbert, probably shouldn't have been playing, somehow went through it. But now they lost their stud left tackle. They lost Slater, and it looks like he could be out. I didn't get the full details. I was running around at ASU a lot today, but I know they said that Slater, I think it's a bicep, and I think it's at least 6 weeks from what they were saying. It could be season ending, though, for your dominant blindside now left tackle. So the Chargers again, and I know we're getting to Jacksonville, but yeah, the West just kind of opened up to your point, Ray. I think for Kansas City, and if Denver can get it going, because again, you said they're stumbling, but if Denver gets their footing, I mean, the West could be between those two right now because of the insane injuries the Chargers have.
Listen, man, Denver very well could be on 3 right now.
They could.
They
You're
very well
absolutely
could.
right. They
They've
could.
Yeah.
looked awful.
And
They've
shout
looked
out to our
awful.
man, the halftime show, Cortland Griffin,
They
saying it's a
Oh,
ruptured
thank you,
bicep
Courtney.
tendon.
Yeah, so bicep. So yeah, that's probably
Hey,
yeah, he's gone
Denzel,
for the year.
that
did
season ended.
Years.
did y'all heard Peyton Manning came out of retirement?
Man, get out of here.
No, because Denzel said something about Jalen Hurts want to play the GOAT in the playoffs. It's the only GOAT I know.
That's my
Only GOAT
guy.
I know.
Oh,
That's
here
my
you
guy.
go.
Ray. Yeah, Denzel. You
Here
need
you
to.
go.
That's a banned phrase around me.
Hey,
Eric's a
man, respect 12.
That'd be
And
a
shout
whole
out,
nother
But
show.
yes, and shout out to
but
my
you
man
know what?
Michael C. When we talk NBA, definitely my brother, I'm gonna have you on, man. But go ahead, Denzel.
You better bring that smoke.
I was
You
just
don't
saying
got no James Brown.
real quick, to Michael and Ray's point is this actually is, and I'm being an optimist here, okay? This actually is the opportunity for the Raiders to get it together, not just for what Ray was saying about, you got to go, do this much to get to the postseason and whatnot, but because the Raiders, not the Raiders, not the Broncos offense is struggling. They could be 0-3. You saw how Russell Wilson looked against us. Now, is our defense a little better than advertised? I believe so, but Russell should have carved us up. And he had trouble against us, This is the time for them to get it together. I said that I believe that the AFC West could send 3 teams to the playoffs this year. If the Raiders turn around, they could be number 3. At this point, the Broncos, Russell's looking like a shell of himself. So, I don't know. But, like I said, there's still more football left to be played.
Denzel, nobody carves up a Lovey defense. He might have young guy. And Eric, when we talked about the Texans in the preseason, I said this. The Texans will probably lose a lot, but it's not going to be like 45 to 10 games or 30-3 because you ain't going to carve a Lovey defense. Even with young guys, they'll make their mistakes.
True.
But even with young guys, you're not going to carve up a Lovey defense.
Well, staying in the AFC South, let's get to our next topic. Go ahead, Ray, real quick.
Nothing. I was trying to do something fun. I was going to pull up something, say shots fired. I just want to say that the Raiders do have an opportunity not many teams get. They get 2 bye weeks. Not many teams get that. Week 7, they got a bye. Week 8, they play Houston. So they get 2 bye weeks. That'll be a perfect opportunity for them.
Hey, don't treat him like John.
He might not be lying.
Oh, don't pull a John.
He might not be lying.
Hey, Ray, all I'm saying is we got receipts.
Hey, man, listen, you know what, though, man, honestly, listen, this season has been so crazy already. We're only 3 weeks in, right? And you say stuff like bye weeks, and week 1, Seattle comes out and hands it to Denver, right? And then, week 1, I think it was Jacksonville. No, it was Houston. The Colts played Houston, and it went down to the wire. That's a tie,
they tied,
right?
They tied.
And then the Colts look atrocious in the first 2 weeks, and they come out. They go scoreless last week, and they come out their first drive and march it down the field against the Chiefs and beat the Chiefs, right? And then Jacksonville dog walks the Chargers. So, hey, man, Houston, hey, man, listen, pigs fly, all that good stuff. You don't know what Houston going to do.
All right. Jacksonville Jaguars, 2-1 with a point differential of 46. Can they sustain? Denzel, this is your territory, my brother. Can they sustain?
Ooh, man. Once upon a time, they were guaranteed wins for Houston. Ain't looking like it right now from what I saw yesterday. Now, I will say this much, and that is, and I know it's a different season. We got Justin Herbert last year. But, the way that they looked yesterday, it was downright scary. That was the best game I had seen Trevor Lawrence play. That was the best game I'd ever seen him play. For him to go into Los Angeles and do the Chargers the way now. Okay, Chargers charging. No, I think that the Jags were outright better. The percentage of America that picked the Chargers to win, maybe this is their bounce back game, but it certainly was not the case. Now, mind you, they are head coached by Eric Y'all's former coach, Dougie P. So that actually elevates them a lot, in my opinion. They got a young running core. They got a young QB. Their defense is flying all over the place. And because they're in the AFC South, they got a realistic shot at making the playoffs. Quite possibly even winning the division, seeing how the Colts started off, the Texans started off. The Titans said that they were one-dimensional. Yes, it is. And shout out to my cousin. He's a Titans fan. Miles ago on the gauntlet, he said, hey, when you put the ball in Tannehill's hands, you know what's going to happen. But the Jaguars, they got the best of both worlds right now. So I'm going to say yes.
All right. Ray, can they sustain this?
Absolutely, man. Like you know what's crazy? We did all this talking about the AFC West, right? We talked about the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders. And the one thing we all talked about, like the don't sleep on those guys pick all summer, was the Chargers, right? Everybody saw how talented Justin Herbert was, has Austin Eckler, has Keenan Allen. They got all these weapons. Then they went and signed. Like, you already got Bosa, you got Derwin James. They went and got Justin Jack. Like, that defense was supposed to be it. And Trevor Lawrence made them look like a JV team. He just did whatever he wanted to do. Shout out to James Robinson on my fantasy team too, right? Like they just did, they had their way with them. So like I actually won money on that game. And I bet a guy, one of the football pick'ems I do, he said, they giving the Jags X amount of points. Anybody want to take it for 50? I said, I will. I was only doing it based on the fact that I figure Justin Herbert might not be healthy. Justin Herbert looked fine. I don't think he's still fully healthy, but he played okay. It wasn't that. It was that the Chargers couldn't stop the Jaguars. Like, those words don't even sound right. Like, anybody couldn't stop the Jaguars. Like, it's the bad news Bears, man. Like, the walking, laughing stock. Like, it's like, oh, no, it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. These boys serious, man. They look good. Like, I don't know if y'all seen my setup. I'll be watching. It look just like this quad box. I watch 4 games at a time. And if it's another one I really want to watch, I'll pull the laptop out and watch a couple more. It's kind of hard to focus, but I'll be looking, man. I'm like, yo, these boys, like, they just doing what they want to do. I threw that plus 46 out because point differential is huge, right? You talk about the Raiders, and they only lost by 3. They lost by this. They lost by that. These boys got the second best point differential in the NFL behind the Bills. Let that sink in. And they ain't played no chumps. So, hey, man, sometimes you just don't want to give a team. You're like, you're like, it's the Jaguars. I know what my eyes saw.
Mike, can they sustain this for the rest of the season?
Look, man, I got to compliment your damn coach again, but I mean, the former coach here, Doug Peterson, said from the beginning, he's a guy that could do it. Trevor Lawrence gets a mulligan year because of the dysfunction with which was Urban Meyer. And yeah, to Ray's point, I mean, yeah, he did tear him up. And, when Christian Kirk got the money, everybody's like, what are you paying Christian Kirk for? Dude's getting in the end zone. Dude leads them in reception yards. What's the 2 things you can't coach in football?
Height, speed, and height.
Speed and height. The Lions and Cowboys. That's right. The Lions and Cowboys, Raylan. That's right. Keep talking, funny guy. But anyway, speed and height. Christian Kirk can take top off defenses. I mean, yeah, dudes in the NFL are fast, but when he's in the slot and that safety might cheat up or come over, I'm sorry, you can't coach 4-4. You just can't. So, Look, was it overpaid? I said he can contribute. Doug Peterson knows what he wants. You have Rob and God rest Alex's soul. What did he tell us about Robinson from his rookie year on, Eric? He's like, dude, this cat's a man. I don't get. He goes, it's good to have weapons, but why would Urban Meyer draft Travis Etienne when Robinson is killing it? And we saw what Robinson can do. To Ray's point, Trevor Lawrence, the talent's there too. No one ever thought that Lawrence couldn't come in and play and ball out. With Urban Meyer, he couldn't, but now with Doug Peterson, he can. So, I mean, yeah, do I think they're for real in that division? Look, like I said, Denzel, with your Texans, like I said, they're going to play defense. I do like Davis Mills. The question is, what's their offense really going to be able to do? But you look at the Colts get that win. What kind of momentum can that build for them? And then Eric, you say the Titans are one-dimensional. They finally
are.
No, they are. But I'm saying they fed Derrick Henry a lot yesterday, and he produced more. But you're right. I mean, they need to get those younger receivers involved. And I will say, and when we did the AFC South show, and I said Laviska Shenault, look at the touchdown he had yesterday. Another Pac-12 kid. That's what I'm talking about. But that's neither here nor there. Trevor Lawrence, look, he can do the job. Doug Peterson, thank God he's not in Philly anymore. He can do the job there. So yeah, they're for real.
Well, speaking of not being in Philly, Dougie P is making his return to Philly this coming Sunday
And
when he does face the Eagles. So we'll see how the Jacksonville Jaguars fare against my Philadelphia Eagles. But then they've got the Texans, your team, Denzel. Then they've got the Colts, the Giants, the Broncos. That rounds out the month of October. So when I look at this Jaguar team, can they sustain it? Yes, I feel like they are going to be able to get the job done solely because of who they're coached. You know, yeah, Mike, your point hit the nail on the head. He got a mulligan because the debacle that was the Urban Meyer show in Jacksonville was not indicative of who Trevor Lawrence and this Jacksonville Jaguars team could be. And I heard what Cortland said about, but I mean, he's an AFC South guy. But for him to say this, he has some credibility. Actually, he's got a lot of credibility. Halftime show with Cortland Griffin. Make sure you check it out. But I just think now, Cortland, where they're at, and to the rest of the panel here tonight on the Sports Arena, I feel like this team has turned that page. But divisional play still plays a major factor. How you stack rank against your divisional opponents in the Texans, in the Colts, in the Titans. I think that's going to play a lot as far as them moving forward. But can they sustain it for right now? Yes, I'll give them the nod. But I say it's solely because of the coaching that is Doug Peterson, because I firsthand know what he is capable of doing. Listen, we got one last topic and we got 3 minutes left. So again, we're going to go around the clock and give everybody 30 seconds to talk about this, and we're going right out of here. Aaron Judge hitting 62. Is he the real home run king? Denzel, Mike, Ray, and then I'll close it out. Go ahead, Denzel.
Whenever you talk about home run kings, the first one that comes to mind is Bonds, but that was then and this is now. I do believe that Judge is the real deal. If he makes 62, and I can recall back to the mid-90s when King Griffey was chasing Roger Maris, and he got pretty close. And now here we have it all, almost 30 years later, and no one's caught him yet. But Judge just might do it. In fact, he will do it. It's probably a foregone conclusion, knock on wood, barring injury. If he hits 62, it'll probably end with like 64 or something like that. Yes, he'll be the modern day home run king.
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I have to look. I mean, what Barry Bonds did was insanely crazy, and the HGH, and was he ever on a report? And Balco went to jail, all that. But Aaron Judge, what he's done is sick, and to do it in New York in that shadow with that fan base and the shadows of those giants, of those immortal giants, are always over you. So yeah, I love what he's done. He do it in the field, and more importantly, though, I hope he does it and he wins the Triple Crown. That would be sick.
I can't ignore what this young man has done. And, like we always say, records are meant to be broken. I tip my hat to this young man because through all the questions that he's had to endure, through all the criticism that he's had to face, and even having to listen to our very own John Shear saying intentionally walk him, which I feel would disrespect the game and the integrity of the game altogether. Aaron Judge hitting 62. Does that make him the real home run king? I'm still going to say no because he don't have the most.
Swung on and hit in the air to deep left center.
That's right. Ray taking over the show. Eric's rant. He didn't even know that was coming, just unprompted. Like, we really have to stop with this foolishness. Like, I put this question out there just to kind of test the temperature, see what people that. Like, the media and fans and Major League Baseball as a whole should be ashamed of themselves. Since when do we celebrate jumping into seventh? Like when do we celebrate that? People are like, oh, is he the home run king? No, he's not. I don't care what you think about Barry Bonds. He hit 73. I don't care what you think about Mark McGwire. He hit 70, and he hit more than 61 another time. And Sosa did it 3 times. There are 6 people ahead of Roger Maris at 61. So people are celebrating the fact that Judge can pass Maris. Does that make him a home run king? No. And you know why? Because fans and Major League Baseball, regardless of what you think of those guys, they knew what was going on. And it was saving baseball at the time. That was the most highest rated games. Everybody was there. People was flashing pictures. Baseball knew what was happening, and they let it go on. So guess what? You got to live with these records now. You got to live with Barry Bonds being the home run king until somebody else hits 74. Don't talk to me about juice. Don't talk to me about steroids. Y'all let it happen. I kindly deal with it. Thank you very much.
I didn't
All right,
let it
ladies
happen.
and gentlemen, that is
I
going to
didn't
do it
let
for
it
us here tonight on the Sports Arena. Mike, sorry, we got to go. We got 12 seconds. Denzel, thanks for being with us. We'll see you again on Wednesday. Everyone have a great night. Stay blessed. Peace.